Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, this is Sam Dennehy, aka Halfass Customs, and this is Halfass Presents, the podcast. Today's special guest is Nelson Val- I already forgot it. Valade? Valade?
Valade. Valade.
Valade. Okay, Nelson Valade. Nelson, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got in the hobby?
Well, I started out with trains probably. I gotta say, I was actually a little later in life. I mean, as a kid, my grandparents gave me trains at Christmas and that kind of stuff. But it was probably after being in the Coast Guard for 10 years. I had somebody I knew had a magazine. It was a train magazine, model train magazine, and it
Mhm.
got me kind of the bug. And I started with trains, did a lot of that stuff, painted them and decaled them, did that kind of stuff in the early years before they started doing all of them. Now they do a lot more different road names than they used to. But then all of a sudden I got into these when they came out with these River Point trucks. I did a lot of them. I worked for a Ford dealership, so it kind of got me
Oh yeah.
motivated. So and basically that's what I've been doing. I do a lot of custom work now, since we do a lot of MD printing stuff has really helped me out. There's a
Yeah.
lot more stuff available, and we have a couple of people that we know that do it for a living now. And I've over the last year or two doing selling stuff, I've gotten friendly with a few of them, and we do a lot of bartering. So now I just make a lot of custom trucks. There's a lot of decal people out there too, which makes it even nicer. I
Right,
mean,
yeah.
I've done decals that I never in a million years thought we would do in this business.
Right,
But
which is the great thing about our little hobby is the people that are in it seem to be nice enough to want to help everybody else out as much as well as best as they can to, decal wise or 3D printing or whatever.
well, the stuff is really available. That's probably the biggest thing where it wasn't a couple of years ago. I mean, back when I started, like I said, in the railroad business, I was painting railroad shells for people because they weren't making them. Now, with being over in China, when it first started, it was cheaper, and they could screen print a lot more of them. They do. They have a lot more variety than they used to, as far as road names go.
Right.
But this stuff, I know Ron. I know Ron personally because his business is right up the street from my friend's hobby store. So we know Ron. We've known him for years, and he's a really nice guy, and we got really friendly with him when he started doing this stuff. I helped him out with a few pictures over the years of trucks and stuff when he was first making them. And it's just nice now. This is what I do at night, while I'm watching TV or something. And like I
Nice.
said, I have a bunch of people who I deal with all the time. In other words,
Yeah.
I buy a lot of stuff and he buys a lot of stuff off of me. But I'm glad it's done on Facebook, by the way. I'm not a big fan of eBay. I think
Right, yeah, me neither.
there's too much money involved as far as fees go. And
Right.
I was so pleased when everybody started selling it on here, because it makes it more affordable for people.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
I was talking to somebody the other night and we mentioned you and I said how your prices seem to probably be the best prices on all of social media for River Point Station. Because you're not trying to make $100 off a car when everybody else is. And you're good to deal with.
the thing is, I get them from my friend to begin with, but we get them at a decent price. Plus, I'm not. I've already gotten taken a couple of times. Don't get me wrong. I've had people that bought stuff on me, turned around, and sold it on eBay for tons of money,
Oh, geez.
and I was a little upset with that. And
Naturally.
I've just now on, I just don't sell it to them anymore. I mean, you took advantage of me when I said, they would ask me to give them a price, and I would give them a decent price. and then turn around and, I realize everybody's trying to make money, don't get me wrong, but some of it's just overdone.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
I try to help people out as much as I can because somebody helped me out, and as far as the trucks go, I bought a lot of them and I've got a lot of them. I probably have 3 or 4 bags of them behind me. So, oh
wow.
yeah, I'm stupid when I buy stuff.
Well, I
I
think
have ones
the
that
hobby, I think we all are at a point.
I have train stuff upstairs I probably have close to a couple hundred engines up there.
Jeez.
Yeah, been to it that much. And like I said, I had built a lot of them myself too.
Right,
But
right.
now I like certain things. I was big into bicentennial engines.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it was a big thing when I was um, growing up. The bicentennial of the United States, and so when they started making them, I started buying them. So all of a sudden now I have tons of them. It's amazing. I probably have 40 or 50 of those, just engines. They ain't counting the
Wow.
cabooses. Yeah,
Jeez.
if they
But
made them, I bought it.
but it's what you like, and you could be wasting money on so many worse things in life. And I'm not talking about drugs, but like, I mean,
I've
our,
done everything else.
just the age and the the things that are accessible with money, you could be wasting it like all the time. And at least this, you have something to look back on, and you can, once you're ready to sell it all off, or if you ever do that, you can still make a money off of it instead of buying something, losing that money right when you bought it, and never being able to get money back from it.
Yeah, I did that. I collected first gear stuff. You know what that is?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, crap. I did that for, a friend of mine was actually, I grew up with. We both got into it, and all of a sudden we started realizing that we turned around one day and we had a room full of it.
Oh, geez.
I mean, basically I was living in an apartment at the time, and the walls were covered.
Oh,
And
wow.
my ex-wife at the time said, well, where are you going to put these? You're
What are you
running
gonna
out of
do with them
space.
too?
Yeah,
Right.
well, that's what happened. So then things changed, and I went to go sell them, and what happened was, there was problems with the economy, and the first thing to go is toys.
Yeah.
So I lost a few dollars on some of those things, but I also held on to some stuff, and I made a little money off of it, but just enough to pay for the stuff I didn't. So that's what happens.
But that's perfect though, because you're not losing anything, you're making enough to buy enough, to sell enough, to make enough, to
Mhm.
buy enough, and you're staying in it, and you're floating on, instead of drowning in the hobby.
Well, just like me with these trucks, I'll sell them and I'll turn around and buy more,
Hmm.
just so I get to do something. And I feel like some of the guys are not as talented. Let's put it that way. I mean, there's people, or they just don't have the time and the opportunity. If you give them
Right.
something that's already done and they can afford it, why not?
Yeah,
Like I said, there's people that help me out. My friend John at the store always helps me out as far as price goes. And I get a
that's
good
great.
price from him and we work it out. And I've
Yeah.
dealt with Ron too. I mean, I help him out. He's just, he'll do me some favors. I have some original trucks that he made, upstairs that they were prototypes. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, they were just the first ones that come out and that kind of like.
Yeah.
I was in the Coast Guard, so he did Coast Guard trucks. I was in love with him just for that. And
Right.
I
Yeah.
have
Well,
I
if you
have
were
every
in the
one he made.
business of it, then yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and he made enough of them, and I've actually made some different ones out of, you kind of switch things around, do things, and I have like 30 of them now, just from River Point
Nice.
trucks.
Yeah.
And I have a friend who makes the decals for me, so it works out.
That's cool. Yeah, I worked for when Time Warner existed, Time Warner Cable, and I always thought I liked working for the company. I know most customers hated the company for
Mhm.
every bad thing they did, but as an employee, they really showed they cared about the employee, unlike
Yeah.
everything else in their business. That's why they went under. But I always thought it'd be cool to have like I was driving a 2003, 2004 um, box van that they produced,
Yeah.
Ford did. And I always thought how cool it would be to replicate the van I drove as a technician, but not enough to do anything about it. I just thought how cool it would be to just have one for me. But I
Well,
haven't made one, and I know I think you can probably get a 3D printed version of it because I know River
oh
Point
yeah,
Station don't
they
make it.
does it.
But I I have time. I'm still young, so it's not like I need it now. Maybe
Well, it's
someday it'll
funny
come out.
because even the expeditions,
Hmm.
there were an '09 2010 version, and and I own one sitting outside, and he made a black one that looks just like the one I drive. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, so I mean it's one of
Yeah.
those things. But the trucks, they're actually '09s. They were in 2000
Right.
between the way they're made. This model was available up until like 2011,
Hmm.
and then they changed it. You know, they changed the fronts and all that stuff
Right.
because even the new ones are different today.
Oh yeah, they're way different compared to like three,
Oof.
4 years ago.
Yeah, I work with I work at the dealership and I put on accessories
Oh, okay.
and I deal with all the new vehicles coming in. I stock them in and take papers off and do that kind of. But that's not what I was a cook in the Coast Guard for 20 years. That's how it's kind of funny how you go from one
Yeah.
extreme to the other. So
Right. Well, hey, I mean, that's kind of like me. I worked in dealerships for half my working career in California, never as a mechanic, but I did, and never as a body guy or a mechanic, but I did everything else from
yeah,
sales to parts to never a manager neither. I was never a manager, but I did everything else in a dealership besides those things. And I came to North Carolina and I jumped straight into the cable world. It had left the whole world of cars behind me and jumped into cable. So yeah, I get it. It's weird, like two fields that don't go together, and there you are.
yeah, I mean, I was in the Coast Guard for 21 years. I got out for a couple of years. I did things here and there. And then my son-in-law, he's the general manager here. Well, he's actually my ex-son-in-law now. But I've been working here for 15 years. I to be 15 years next month,
Oh
and it's
wow.
just kind of funny. Yeah, it's people talk about them jumping from job to job over in a couple of years, and
Yeah.
I say, yeah, I haven't done that. I
Well, I
just
know sales guys do that. Sales
oh
guys
yeah
do that like crazy. They just jump from whatever dealership to whatever dealership, whoever's going to give them that, little bit of money to go over or whatever, or whoever's selling more.
oh
And I couldn't stand that because I like as a person that has a job, you kind of want to, maybe put some roots down a little bit at least instead of just, well, this is only for maybe a month or two, and then I'm going to jump to the next one. That just seems like uncertainty right there.
yeah well the thing is like I said I actually work and it's kind of a funny thing. I work with my two grandsons.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
cool.
and my daughter, my youngest daughter, works there.
Oh wow, you
So
guys
it's
should just
kind of a
own the business by now.
yeah. Well, I mean, and the people who I work for, the Floods, they own a couple of dealerships, and Mr. Flood is Mike is a very nice guy. He's very generous with us. But over the years, we just got very close. I mean, my grandsons is a hoot. I mean, one of them just turned 24 and the other one's 21. So the
Wow.
21-year-old works with me. He's
Oh,
not
that's
that
neat.
much mechanically inclined. He's just starting to get the hang of that. But they
Hey,
all
it comes
started
in
out
time.
washing cars for a living. So,
Yeah. Hey,
and
I
my other
did that
one,
too. I had to wash the cars as a porter, so I know.
well, he's actually my oldest grandson. He's actually selling cars now, so he's doing pretty
Oh,
well. So,
okay. Good for him.
and
That's
which I
awesome.
yeah. But
Yeah,
anyways, get
yeah, back to the hobby. Always, it's funny because River Point Station kind of got stuck in their uh, mold where they didn't produce anything newer. And I always thought how neat it would be just for somebody to create the front end off of a 3D print to where you can just replace that whole front end by maybe chopping it off and putting that 3D printed version on. So now the whole truck is brand or newer, but nobody's done that. You can get the
Well,
whole truck off of a 3D print, a whole brand new
yeah.
2019, but the body for the most part, not exactly, is the same. So if you just chop off the nose, you can have a 2000, 18, 2015 version on the old body for
Well,
the
the
most
thing
part.
even I said this, with all the parts available now through 3D printing, if I, and I'm going to mention this to Ron. I just thought about it today. I happened to get one in yesterday. Is they send us chassis, so in other words, they just the cab
Hmm.
and there's nothing on the back,
Yeah,
and that'd be a cool thing to do. Just make a colors, and you wouldn't have to worry about the bodies.
right.
And there's plenty of people out selling bodies, so you could just you just get them from them, and you can get
Yeah.
do what you want. And
Well,
but
see,
I understand what you're saying.
I had another idea of the actual frames and suspension to have. There's a few people out there that are building the lifted versions of that truck,
Yeah, yeah.
getting, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool to have a 3D printed lifted suspension chassis, all one, and then you just take the RPS one off and shove the new one on, and it doesn't have to come with wheels because most people that are going to lift the truck are going to put bigger wheels than the stock ones on there anyways. So you just find your own wheels and you take that chassis off, put the new one on, and you got like a 4x4 lifted RPS truck ready to go. But nobody's created a off-road suspension chassis for that truck yet in a 3D
Yeah,
print.
there's a fellow over in Germany that did one, and it was radio controlled. I don't know if you've
Oh,
seen this clown. This
no,
guy
I
makes
did. Yeah,
it.
that's beyond
He's
what I'm talking about.
I understand
That's
it, but
like super
that's
advanced.
always fascinated me.
Yeah.
One of the gentlemen, one of the guys that I know from the store. He used to hang around the store. He used to work for. He still works for a gas company, an LP company, but he works for East Coast
Circuit?
circuits.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah, Sammy. And they put lights in these things.
Oh yeah.
I'm so enthralled with those things. It's unbelievable.
That's so funny you say that because if you know anything about me at all, I'm pretty famous for the Ghostbusters cars that light up. And
Oh, Sammy made one. Sammy made
yeah,
one of these.
yeah, he's made them all but the first one. The first one was made by John Howard.
I
And
got
then
you.
all the rest of them I've ever built are made by or done up by East Coast Circuit.
Yeah, Yeah, I just happened. As a matter of fact, we were just talking about him today. Yeah, somebody, one of the train YouTube thing did a thing on two of his vehicles, and there was a guy that was partners with him. This guy named Nick. I don't know who he is, but Sammy, yeah, Sammy's working for Atlas too now.
Oh, really? I,
Yeah, they.
I I reached out to them to try to get them on this podcast. They said they want to do it, but they're so busy that they don't have the
Oh yeah,
availability. So I'm still
Sammy's
working
busy
on
because
them.
he works too. And the other thing is,
Right.
they got another kid that works there, and they poor kids working because he's doing switches. The lights for Atlas. I guess they bought some. Atlas bought
Oh
some
wow.
company, and they needed the switches for the lights and doing the
Hmm.
lights and stuff for him. So he's been just doing connectors for him.
Jeez. Wow.
I just said, good for you. I mean, he's a smart kid, and it's good to
Yeah.
see somebody make something out of this hobby, because
Oh yeah.
we all like this hobby so much.
Right. Well,
And
that's like the thing with the Ghostbusters car. I built the first one. John Howard did all the LED work, and then he messages me after he sent it out and says, "I'm never building another one of these again." It just racked my brain so much to figure out all of those
mm,
lights on the Ghostbusters car. And I said, "That's cool. I totally understand." But I had customers that wanted to buy them for the astronomical price I was going to sell them for. And I was like, well, if they're going to buy it, I have to figure out a way to get these lights in it. So I reached out to them. They said, we'll try it. So I sent them one. It was perfect.
oh,
They
good.
ran with it. And yeah, they've been I've built probably 20 of them now, and they've done all of them but 19, or all of them but the
First one.
first one. Yeah.
It's just funny. Like I said, I was just talking about him, but and the funny thing is, as much as I know him and stuff, I don't have a one of them. I thought just when I'm talking to you, I'm thinking about it. You know, I keep saying to him, "You got to make me one. You got to get me." And he keeps going,
Right.
"Bring me the truck. Bring me the truck." And you know, it's one of those things you get so far behind it stuff. But I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to make one because I wanted to
Yeah,
do a
it's
Coast Guard truck, and I never got around to doing it.
yeah,
But
they do really good work. It's truly they have an art skill that I don't have. That's why I have to send them out to them to do it on my end, because it's beyond me how they do it, and it's awesome though. It brings
yeah,
to life a vehicle that looked nice just by itself, but then like really turns it on and makes it alive, putting
I
life
got
in it.
people that I've shown these things to, and they go, "How the heck did they do that?" I
Right,
says, "I have
right.
no idea." I says, "They do whatever they do, and they know how
Yeah.
to do it." It amazes me how small those lights are to begin with.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I sent them a Night Rider car, and I have that where the lights swish back and forth, and they did that too. And I said, "Do you think you can
Don't
put it
tell me
in?"
that.
Yeah,
I have
hold
a
on.
friend who loves that car.
Oh, really? Because I do sell it. So if you want
Well,
to,
we'll have to get together. And I'll see if I can get one. I'd
yeah,
like
if
to
you
get
want
one from him.
to
He'd love that.
let them know. Hold on, I'm gonna put this battery on it and see if it. I'll show you it's lighting up.
See, now if you get it to talk, it'd be all set. It'd be being like number one.
Right. Yeah, that's the next step. Come on. Where's the lights? Turn it backwards. So it's got these wires that have leads on them that you just hook to a battery.
Yeah.
Oh, what is
No,
happening
don't
here?
worry about it.
Yeah,
I think
so the lights swish back and forth, and
yeah, we were
it was pretty
he
cool.
just got one of them. It's actually a 24 scale one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and we got it from, and we do a lot of die casts at the store too. That's one of the things. Trains is our main business, but the other thing is it's AA Hobbies, by the way, in Warren, Rhode Island. He does a lot of diecast stuff, and there's another thing too, and I wish they would do smaller stuff. Is Greenlight? I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you ever seen they do
The
164.
164 scale? Yeah.
He got tons of stuff, and I wish they would
Oh,
do
wow.
it.
Yeah, they have toolboxes, they got gas station equipment, they got so much accessory stuff for little diorama pieces. It's
It's
amazing.
and even just the cards and the combinations.
Right.
I wish they would do them smaller because there's such an
Yes.
and
That would be awesome.
I don't even want to get them any because I'm afraid if I start that we've just gotten away from that. I just do
Yeah,
this.
right. It's funny, like the leader in so I'm not huge in 164th, but I follow it every day, all day. Um, so the leaders in detail in a different of actual vehicles is Greenlight in another company called Auto World, or short
Yeah.
AW. They're the leaders in diversity of vehicles in detail. When Hot Wheels and Mattel are just kind of cartoony style looking cars for the most part, and drastically disproportioned cars,
Yeah.
those two companies lead for accuracy and detail.
Well, the thing is in the price on them.
Oh yeah, completely
It,
reasonable.
I mean, for kids to do something, if they wanted to start, when I was a kid, it was Matchbox.
Hmm.
It was actually the real from Leslie Toys, and
Right.
those were 99 cents a piece. And
Yeah.
that was a big deal. That's when I go see my grandparents in Jersey. Go to the store and they had the 100 of them in the thing, and that was
Yeah.
you got to pick one. So you'd
Yeah.
start at one and go all the way down. And I had all of them at once. At one time or
That's
another in my
awesome.
life. Yeah, and it's funny, but those are the things that you go, oh, that's cool. And then
Yeah.
they went to Mattel, and it wasn't that hot. But when I saw these green lights, it's nice to see vehicles you see on the road. That's the kind.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
it kind of makes, especially now I'm into these trucks, and at work I deal with a lot of vehicles, and mostly trucks, because everybody drives them.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see different vehicles around.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. It makes for a better looking layout and a better looking collection. And I think the collector or even the guy that's a custom builder of them, they enjoy it much more than having just say 100 different cars total and everybody has the same cars. There's only so much you can do to them. So to have a diversity of other vehicles to play with is so much nicer.
Well, that's the thing I found myself lately doing, because there's such a bunch of new decals out there from different companies. They do a lot of the inkjet printing decals.
Hmm.
um, I find myself putting decals on stuff and just going to town. I mean, I did a UP truck, a service truck, and it has a flag on the back. It was actually on the River Point um,
Hmm.
uh, YouTube thing. He did it for Lance did it as the profile for the custom for
Yeah,
the
that's who I was talking about with him, about you, was Lance. That's right. He's going to be on, I think, not this week, but next week's episode. But yeah, we were
well, he,
mentioning you a
he just
lot.
bought he just bought a truck off of me.
He
I
says
just
he's
matter of
got like
fact, I can send it
400
up
of
today.
them. He's got
Yeah,
like
I know.
400 of them, supposedly.
It's funny, and I was going to a train show up in Springfield, Mass. It's one of the bigger
Hmm.
ones around this
Yeah, yeah,
area.
yeah. Yeah, I was out there this January, in the beginning of
Oh,
the year.
yeah, and I have people come up to me that they know me. I guess I don't know where they know me from, but I mean it's from YouTube. But they'll come up to me, and I'm talking to somebody, and somebody will mention my name, and they go, "Hey, I bought stuff off of you," and it's kind of neat. And they know I worked in the hobby store. We would go up there. So when John would come, hey, some guy was just looking for you, and this and
Right.
the other thing. But even the guys that do the trucks there, a lot of them are I know personally. I have a friend that did. Matter of fact, he's kind of a funny guy. He did a layout with the Coast Guard stuff. He built a boat and everything. Matter of
Oh
fact,
yeah, yeah. I was sitting right next to him with my module back here, my
yeah,
module right here. I was sitting literally right next to him on this last January show.
yeah,
He's
Glenn.
a really nice guy. Yeah.
Well, Glenn, he's the nicest guy in the world. It's funny. He knows I'm in the Coast Guard, so he did a buoy tender, which takes care of the buoy. Well, I have one in a box here that he actually made the one that he had in his diorama that he used as a model. He gave it to me. I'm going, what are you doing? He says, well, you'd appreciate it more than this than I will. I said,
Right.
okay. So he gave it to me, but
That's
he does
awesome.
my decals, my Coast Guard decals for me.
Oh, nice.
So it's kind of one of those things. But
Yeah.
he lives in Maine now, but he used to live in Rhode Island. He moved up to
Oh,
Maine.
okay.
And he's a friend of somebody else I know. So that's how I got to know him. And
Yeah.
he's a talented guy.
Oh, he really is. I mean,
He's
that it looks like it's probably 12-foot long module of the Coast Guard scene with the boats and the cars on the boats and the parking lot and then that Coast Guard building. It is crazy.
Did you see
He's
his
very
train
good.
station?
I don't think that was there.
Oh,
I
it
think
wasn't
just the
that where
Coast
he
Guard
was.
module.
It was part of the train module up front of where you guys were. It
Oh.
was a big. I think it was the Pennsylvania station down in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. Is a
I'm gonna be
huge.
honest. I like trains. I don't love trains. So
No,
I like the vehicles on the train sets. I like certain buildings, but yeah, train stations, I'd probably just pass it on thinking, "Oh, that
oh,
looks nice," and then just keep walking.
it was very impressive. It was huge, and that's what if you saw it, you would have went, yeah, I know what you're talking about because it was
Right.
nicely
I
done.
might have
It's one of
saw it and just don't remember it because it's not my thing.
that's I mean that was even when I went to I did go to the train show this year. I My health hasn't been the best lately. I finally gotten to the point where I'm feeling 100% better. I finally But the last couple of months have been tough on me. So, I mean, guys have
Wow.
bought stuff, and it's been there was weeks where I didn't get the stuff out. People were going to do it for me. And, sometimes it's just
Yeah.
better to, but
Just get
I
better.
finally
Take
got
care
to
of
the point
yourself.
where they got my medication in the right, they proportioned it right. So now I'm working a lot more. I didn't work for almost a month and a half.
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
scary.
I was like, it scared the crap out of me.
Right.
Well, I'm not that
Especially
old.
with
So,
what's happening right now in the world, that definitely scare anybody.
well, the thing is I've been very fortunate, and that does concern me, but I've been very fortunate that where we work, and I spend as much time, even like today, I had to do some stuff on a truck. I spent a lot of time outdoors doing stuff.
Mhm.
I try not to spend too much time in the garage anymore. And it's, you know what? It's better for my health anyways.
Right,
But I'm
right,
65 years old. I'm still running under and still laying on the floor putting running boards on trucks.
right.
Those running boards on the side of those trucks you see, I put on every
So
other.
they have you lay in on the floor. They don't give you a bay with a lift in it.
No, no, I don't have a lift.
Jeez. Talk
Yeah,
about
it's
hard labor.
well, I mean, well, it doesn't take much to put them on, but it's just
No, but
after a
still.
while that cold cement, it's just not good
Yeah,
for you.
right. And yeah, you need a lift.
Yeah, well, I've told them that 100 times, and the money,
Right.
now it's
Yeah, that doesn't that bay with a lift won't produce nearly the amount of money as an oil change bay would.
no, no. I mean, I do. I mean, the thing is now that I did a lot of work when I was home. That was for sure. I found myself getting bored watching TV.
Oh yeah.
And my biggest thing now is this YouTube stuff. I watch it all the time. It's ridiculous. Uh,
There's so
but
much on there.
well, I think it has a lot to do with what's going on. There's more people at
Oh,
home. There's more
definitely.
people
Hey,
watching it.
I started this because of COVID. So hey, there you go.
But I mean, I watch people on the thing, and I'm not, and I'm watching people making stuff out of pallets. Yeah, and it's funny because you're sitting there for an hour or two watching different videos of him making furniture, and you're going, I can't believe I just watched that.
Right, right, right.
But it's fascinating to see people do different things. And then they got the layouts on there, so I like watching them. And you
Oh
see
yeah.
different. There's people out there. I wish I had half the talent they did. I mean, I do this stuff, and I think I'm just muddling through. But there's guys out there that I see all the time that they totally amaze me by when they do stuff.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just wonderful to see. And the thing is, we'd like to see younger people start doing this stuff, and to
Oh,
get them
definitely.
interested is tough. It's tougher than it
Yeah.
used to.
Much tougher. I mean, I know when so I'm 40, I started doing model cars like regular 124th, 125th scale
Yeah,
model cars back when I was 10. And they were slowly disappearing at that time. So I was 10 in 1990, or 89. And even then, there were dedicated hobby stores just for model cars. There
yeah,
was a few, and they were disappearing at that time, but they're still hanging around just for model cars, not for everything else like you see today in a hobby store. They dedicate a little spot for everything so they can cram it all in. But back then, you could still find stuff like that. And it's it was a little bit easier to get kids into it then because there were dedicated spots that had everything you could possibly
yeah.
want. But now the only place you can find everything you want is on the internet because hobby stores are just disappearing like crazy.
Wow, that is a shame. It was funny. Today we were looking at my my friends. He bought a bunch of these. They were models out when I was a kid. That's
Yeah.
going back some. And it was funny because there was a truck there. It was a GMC truck. It was like a 69 or a 70, between 69 and 70. And it came with a plow. Now, it was a big thing up here in New England.
Oh, I'm sure it
And,
was.
and I made that model. I turned around today and it was sitting on the shelf. And
Yeah,
they're
they're
reissuing
reproduced.
all this stuff.
Yeah, they are. They're taking
And
a
it's
lot of the
better
old
looking than it
Johan
was.
kits. and doing all those 3-in-1 custom car
Yes,
kits you
yes.
can get. They're starting to reproduce those, which is good. But at the same time, a lot of people don't want the reissued stuff. They want that original stuff.
The thing is it's funny, but I see, they right now we got a lot of John does a lot of truck stuff. He's big into John has a he has a dinosaur actually. It's an excursion that the Ford doesn't even make them anymore.
No, they stopped like in 2012 or 13 or something.
Oh, it was sooner than that. It was
Oh,
oh
was it?
05.
Oh, geez.
He's
I'm
got
way
he's
off.
got he's got an O2, and the damn thing's got just under 100,000 miles on it, but it's a diesel.
Wow.
Oh,
Under
he
a
doesn't
hundred
drive
thousand.
far.
That thing's like brand new still then.
Well, he
For
only
a
drives like
diesel?
3 miles a day to work and back.
Jeez.
He lives right down the street from where his building is.
It's gonna take him forever to get to 1 million miles in that diesel engine.
Well, the thing is, you can't kill that diesel. I mean,
No, I know.
he takes it in. They do the work on it in the shop. Every time I take it in there, everybody wants the damn truck.
Oh yeah. It's
I mean, it's
yeah, I
oh, you
want
guys want to
it.
sell this? I says, nah, he ain't gonna sell it. He says, you and I we'll be dead before he sells that stupid thing.
Yeah, I know Ken Patterson, the guy that does the What's Neat This Week
Okay.
podcast for trains, he has an excursion. And he takes that thing everywhere. I don't know if
Yeah,
it's got a
and
diesel engine in it or not, but
well, to tell you what, you can find one like we just looked at one. John just looked at one. It was an '05. They wanted basically what the guy paid for it back in
oh crap.
'05. Oh no, it was a diesel, but the guy was in perfect condition, and
Wow.
it had just 100,000 miles on it, but it was a diesel.
Right,
And those
right.
particular diesels they had in them freaking things will run on anything. You
Oh
could
yeah.
put brake fluid in them and it run.
Yeah. As
Oh,
long as there's a texture to that liquid, it'll run on
yeah,
it.
it's funny because we had a guy in the shop who used to run his stuff on all the drain stuff used to drain out of these cars. You look at him, what are you doing with that stuff? He said, run the truck on it. Mix a little
Right.
diesel in it and be all
Yeah,
set.
I take the oil from the oil pan when it needs an oil change, and then I put it in the gas tank.
Oh,
It's a
it's funny,
it
you
just
go like,
redoes
yeah,
itself.
whatever. You don't even think about that stuff, but Jesus. I got some new stuff that I'm starting to make a lot of older vehicles because some of these decals came out that we for like Penn Central Railroad and
Yeah,
SP. And this is all maintenance away stuff. I really like that more than I do anything. I
that's
find
cool.
myself more interested in that stuff. But I have tons of these police vehicles for the railroads.
Hmm.
There's a lot of them out there. I didn't realize how many the big railroads. BNSF has their own UP, and even CSX has their own. You
That's cool.
okay?
Oh yeah, just a little cough.
You're not
I
dying,
didn't
are
want.
you?
That's neat though, cause see, like I'm not a huge train guy. I don't even. I know that I would think just by thinking about big huge businesses like that have that big huge machinery going on all the time that they should have their own probably police and fire rescue department in their company. So it makes
Well,
sense that they should have that stuff.
a
I've
lot of
never
it,
seen them.
a lot of it now is for trespassers. The
Oh,
police department, Amtrak's always had police, and that was because they're passenger line. But a lot of it is because of people trespassing.
geez.
That's all they do. I mean, you can't. John would be the first one to tell you. It used to be when you're a rail fan, you could get up close. The guys, if they were stopped, they would talk to the
Yeah,
engineers and
yeah.
stuff. Not anymore. It's just too
Really?
much. It's just too much. I hate to say the word, but there's just too much. Too many people. Too many crazy people around. And
Wow.
these. But it's a lot of it's had to do with that. And I mean, I know the government let them do it. But all of a sudden it's the Circuit City decals. They
Yeah.
gave me they did police ones for BNSF. So I took that and they made different ones, just use different decal. Matter of fact, they're decal. But they've just, as far as I'm concerned, they did a really good job on doing decals. And the thing is, it seems like every time I turn around, they did one for these love trucks. It's a tire company. And
Yeah.
I just did a whole bunch of them. And I got,
Nice.
yeah, and I just turned around and I just sold a bunch of them. As soon as
Yeah,
I put them on, everybody's go, "Oh, where'd you get that?"
I've only
I
ever
had
done
that.
I've only ever used their product once, and I used it for their Back to the Future 3 steam engine decals they had. So Back to the Future 3, they go back to 1885.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there's that famous steam engine that pushes the DeLorean
Yep.
back into the future. And so they made those decals for that locomotive. And those are the only decals I ever bought from them so far.
Well, I tell you, because they had one on there for the railroads, and the different. There's like there's a ribbon, there's a pink ribbon, and with flags. They have a whole thing that just you can use put them on different engines, because a lot of the engines now have flags on them. UP's
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
notorious for.
yeah. Yeah.
But I bought them just for that, and I tell you what, I put them on the trucks now, and it's just finding places to put them. You're kind of like,
Right.
this is interesting. We just play with it a little bit. But you got to do something to make it a little different. You don't
Oh,
want the same
definitely.
things all the time. Because I
Yeah.
mean, I can make them like Ron does. He just he puts the sticker on the window and puts the striping on them. But you got to do something different. People want different
Right,
stuff,
yeah. Yeah,
and you can give
because
them a little.
I mean, if you build 10 of the same vehicle and then the next 10 of a vehicle a little bit different but looks exactly the same as the other ones, now you got 20 of like pretty much the same vehicle. And you don't need that many of the same vehicle unless you had a
No,
customer
no.
that wants 20 of them, you know? So you gotta like change it up. I mean, the vehicle itself could be the same vehicle, but with a different paint scheme, different decals, it can be a whole different vehicle, even though it's the same thing.
Cracks me up though. I just can't. I look at them now, and you get this, and you in your head you go, "Oh, okay." And then once I do it, it's a matter of going, "Geez, did I overdo it?" And then I finally decided that, well, if you don't like it, you don't got to look at it. That's the
All
way.
right, just sell it. Let somebody else
This
have to
is
deal
what
with
I
it.
wanted to do.
Yeah.
If you like it, great. If you don't, that's fine. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna argue with it. I mean, I have had to run-ins with people over stuff. One of the things, and I'll mention this because I want to make sure that it gets said out there, that this thing with Ron and these trucks,
Hmm.
I kind of wish people would give him a break, because he's doing all he can to get this done,
Yeah.
but it's tough and people don't understand. He was going to bring out these Silverados, the GMC stuff. Um,
Right.
the orders weren't there, and that's not from you and me. We're not the guys buying them in bulk.
Right.
I'd
Right.
love to be able to go out there and say, "Hey, Ryan, I'll take $6,000 worth of them," that kind of
Right.
thing. But I can't do that personally. And if
No,
I
me
could, I
neither.
would have.
Yeah.
Because it would, I could sell them. I know I get rid of them. But I got guys telling me, "Oh, I'd have bought 4 or 5 of them." No, you don't
That,
understand. He's
yeah.
got to sell these all in one shot to
Right.
make his money back.
Yeah.
And I just wish people would understand that he's in it for a business. This isn't a hobby for him.
Right. Right.
And
Yeah. That sucks too because you would think that the Silverado would be as popular as the Ford. You
it
would
is.
think,
And if the
but if
problem
people aren't there
is
to buy it,
well, the problem is this whole thing. What's going on? I mean, it has to do with uh, this this problem we're going through at the moment, and that's what's holding people up. Nobody wants to make any financial
right?
uh, big
Gains like that.
financial purchases.
Yeah.
Or well, Walters overstepped when they put them in their thing.
Right.
They listed them and they said there were pre-orders.
Oh,
And
geez.
Ron went, "That's wonderful. I don't got them, so I don't know what you're going to
Right.
order."
Yeah. Right.
And it put him on the spot because people go, "Well, why does Walters have them?" Walters doesn't have them.
No, they're just
And you try to
advertising them.
explain that to people, and they just don't want to hear it because they've seen it.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
on
Right.
the internet, so it's got to be.
It's got to be
but
true.
it's got to be true. But I mean, he's done a lot of work. He wants to do it as much as the guy next door. He'd love to get. He's been talking about these trucks, and I've seen the one that he's got. It's great. It's going to be a nice model.
Yeah.
He's trying to do an ambulance right now, and it's going to be on the regular. It's going to be on the 550, not the. He was going to do cutaways. I don't know if he still is, but he's
I
got
mean, for
one.
me, I'm a Chevy guy, so if those were
Oh,
out, I would have a few. I wouldn't have a
oh
lot,
no,
but I would definitely have a few because all I
I
see is
would.
custom
I'd love
trucks
to
out of
have
those.
something different to do. It would make it. It
Yeah,
just change the pace.
right.
Trucks don't matter to me. I mean, I like Fords because I work for them, but when it comes to this stuff, I could care less. It's something different.
Yeah.
Even a Dodge, if they could come out with a Ram, but
Here's what's
I
crazy.
don't
You want to
see
hear
that
something
happening.
funny about that? Back in California, I'm driving to Mexico, Tijuana, just for the day. And right in San Diego, which is just a few miles above the border, I see a Ram Suburban. And I know Dodge or Mopar never made a Ram Suburban. I know they made a
No,
quad cab pickup truck with a camper shell, but not a molded in full on Suburban. And I see this thing on the other side of the freeway, and I can see it like perfect. It's been, I don't know, 20 years, but I can see it. I know exactly what this thing looks like. And it amazed me. And I thought, I've got to look that up. Only made in Mexico, never made it to the States. Why
well,
wouldn't Dodge make that
they made a
available for the States?
they made a Power Wagon back in the day that was a
Oh,
full
yeah.
size Power Wagon,
That was back in the day. This isn't
and I mean
anytime
it was
recent,
back in the
though.
'50s,
Right.
and
And
it's one
that
of
is a
those.
cool Suburban, too. It's an awesome looking Suburban
Yeah,
that Dodge made. But
well, I guess now there's Durango's coming out. It's going to be a Hellcat version of the Durango,
yeah, there, I think,
and
I know they made did they make the Viper engine version? I don't know. I know they
there
make a
was
super,
one out there you could buy
okay.
it. You could get the engine in it. It
Yeah,
was
I
a
know, because I know Ram did the pickup truck, the single cab short bed
yeah.
Viper engine, and they made the quad cab short bed Viper engine, but I didn't know about that Durango Hellcat. Ooh,
No, it's something. Yeah, they just came
that's
out
gonna
with it.
be that's gonna be
Uh,
crazy.
well, this police departments use those.
God, I mean
When
they
they were
need them,
using it,
but
when they were using the Chargers, but even the Chargers now, as far as police cars go, they've done away with a lot of that. They're too fast.
oh, whatever.
A friend of mine here who he does police cars, but he used to be on the police force. He just retired. He had two. They had bought in four Dodges. One of them had gotten. It had actually been in three accidents,
Oh, geez.
and it was from people just going way too fast in them.
Well, I mean, you got that big old engine. I mean, I
Well, the
know the
thing is, even
Demon,
here, we
the
got
Demon
state
gives you
troopers.
800 horsepower engines.
Oh,
So that Hellcat's got to be at least 650 or 7.
oh no, it's up there. It's almost 800.
Wow, gosh.
I have a GT 500 right now sitting at the showroom floor where I work.
Yeah.
It's a Mustang. The
Yeah,
sticker
10
price
speed.
is $105,000.
Oh my gosh. That's like the Corvette. The Corvette's, the fully loaded like Z71 top of the line is like 120. So
Yeah,
that's just
well
retarded money. Stupid.
then they want 50 grand over sticker for it.
Oh,
Yeah, and they're getting them.
yeah. Well,
It's
people are crazy.
750 horsepower.
I mean, don't get me
It's,
wrong. If I had the money, I'd
yeah.
probably get one too. Because who could
But it's an
pass up that
automatic,
kind of
buddy.
power?
But these Mustangs are
They have the
automatic.
paddle shifters?
Yeah, but they're
Well,
all.
then I can deal with that. But
They did a thing on Jay Leno did a thing with one of the guys from Ford, and he explained to him why they did it that way.
mhm.
It's because the car can shift better than you.
Oh yeah, no,
With the
100%.
10-speed transmission, it's got a
Yeah,
10-speed transmission
right.
in it. With that motor and that transmission, it's better if they did if
Yeah,
the
yeah.
car.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And people go,
And
oh, I like the shit. Well, he goes, here you go. You can play with these, and
yeah,
it's.
the people that like to shift are all the YouTubers that are crashing them. Those are the people that like to shift.
I couldn't even imagine. Drove one. They put these tires on them because the car's made for the track.
Mm-hmm.
You bring them out in the rain. If the roads are wet, the thing will spin right
Oh,
around.
yeah.
And and I go, I don't know how anybody can just drive this car, down the road.
Right.
First off, you get in trouble.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it's amazing.
you'd have to be able to play with it so much to where you understood where it was going to let loose, where it was going to grab, where it was going to shift, where it was going to pull, where it was going to do this, do that, do that, do this. You'd have to know that car so well in order to be able to drive it comfortably, safely. But most
Oh,
people don't.
yeah, it's stupid.
Right.
There was a guy here that was a friend of ours. He bought one a couple of years back, and that was probably the smartest thing he did. He bought it 3 years ago, and it's a 5-speed. No, it's a 6-speed. He bought it. He bought it at the right time. The price was only 50 grand, which was at that time was a lot of money.
Yeah.
But he bought it at the right time. Now they're just stupid money. There's people,
Oh, yeah.
and because they only make a few of them,
Right.
I guess some of these vehicles, I don't know if you can see these things. I don't.
No. Maybe if you put the oh, there we go. Yep. See that?
Yeah, I did some of these. I put different decals on them and stuff, and it came out pretty well. But the love truck I was talking about, and it's pretty cool. I'm trying to get this as doing the best I can here, but it's just amazing. I am selling a lot of them. A lot of just trying to get
That's good though. I mean, if
I
you got something new that hasn't been mass produced and isn't being seen very
oh no.
often, then, people are going to want that. I know when I built the first Ghostbusters car and it lit up, oh, the internet went crazy. Everybody wanted one.
Yeah,
So,
and
yeah, it's the same thing.
I put and these welders are from Dana. What the hell's his last name?
Oh, yeah,
He's a
Dana, yeah, him.
he, I love his stuff, and and it's like every time I'll send it. He just made me 2 trucks. They're due here next week. He took one of the trucks that was actually a fleet truck. It was one of the service trucks. He took it and he made a fire truck out of it. He took all
Oh,
the
cool.
writing off of, he took the screen printing, and he made 2 of them. And I sent him a bunch of them. He goes, "Oh, here," because I keep sending him stuff, and he's going like, "No, no, you're not paying for these." I said, "No, no, I got more for you." And he sends me all these little doodads. I love this stuff. That's why I've been building the trucks, because
Right,
Ron's
yeah.
got some. Ron's got parts, but um,
Dana's got more.
and you know what? The welders I think are better than the ones that Ron puts out. And I hate to talk bad about them, but the
Right.
rest of the stuff, the jibs and stuff, I like that. They're pretty good for his trucks and stuff. Everything else, but even that business it's another thing. There's a lot of work in that stuff.
Oh
I
yeah,
get
I
tons
had
of
him
it.
on the podcast. He's already he was very interesting. I didn't know most of the stuff we talked about when he was explaining and telling me all about his stuff, and it was so interesting to hear him, you know,
He's an
describe what he
engineer.
does. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he's not a
and
dumb man.
no, he was very interesting, and I liked that interview a lot.
Because
But
we do a lot of time. Matter of fact, right now he's building a layout for his grandson.
okay,
So he's been at the store a lot because he's buying track and this kind of stuff. But I sent him a box a couple of weeks back, and for some reason or other, it had John's label on it, and I never put my name on it. So he opens his box thinking it's from John,
yeah,
and it's all these trucks and some decals. And he finally he called me up and said, "What the heck are you doing? You didn't even tell me who this was from. And why did you put all these trucks in it?" I said, "I wanted to show you." Somebody made Rhode Island DOT had made new decals for their doors.
hmm
A friend of ours had made some for 50 scale and 87 scale. So now I sent a bunch of them. I have a bunch of them. I sold a bunch of them at the store because from here. But even that First Gear and one of the other companies came out with the bigger trucks, the 150ish trucks, and I just made those. into the DOT trucks, and because they got these, I see them every day. That's why there's a garage right down the street. These guys go by me every morning. You know, there's these white pickup trucks, and that's all there is to it. You know, they're nicely done. But I've really gotten into this stuff the last 6 months, and you
That's
know,
good.
Dana doing the parts and stuff, and just everybody helping out. And I love doing it, and I like just the stuff I'm getting from people. You know, the recognition, and you know, people are thanking me and saying, "Hey, great job" and stuff. And
Yeah.
there'd been a few jerks along the way, but you know, you deal with what you have to deal with.
Right. And it makes you wonder too, like if you can't say anything nice, if you don't like the product, if you don't like the model, if you don't like the guy, just don't say nothing and move on. Who cares? Why say something? Just
I
nobody
had
cares about your comment, so just go.
I had made the last batch. I raised the price a little bit because I said, you know, I'm doing a lot more work, and I said, you know, I few more dollars, and I have people, oh, you know, I said, no, I can't do it anymore. I can't give you, you know, this. I'm
Right.
already at the rock bottom here. I'm trying
Hmm.
to make sure this is, but I says, I have to make money. I have to keep myself where I'm not taking money out of my pocket to build these things.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not costing me money.
Right.
It's a business. It's not charity. You know, I said, I'd like to help. I have had a few guys here that some of the younger folks that I've done work for, I've given them a break because they're really interested. And one of them, he asked me how to do things, and I don't mind telling them. And you know, it's kind of nice to have showed them how to do some stuff over the internet, and you know, that kind of stuff. It's
Right.
nice to do that for a change.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly like the Ghostbusters car. So I offer this Ghostbusters card. This is not the one from the movies. This is the one from the cartoon and the video game.
I got
This
you.
is what Shapeway offers. They created this version, and so this is the version that I sell. Now, I give the customer all the help they need. I say, I can help you with the decals. I can help you with any direction. And then I give them the link to the Shapeway link for the car. And then I say, this is who lights up all the cars, is East
Yeah.
Coast Circuit. I say, and I break everything down. So I say, you can do this yourself, or you can just have me do it. And I try to do the same thing you're doing, like help out anybody that's interested in what I can do. If they want to do it themselves, which nobody's done it themselves that I know of, they just say, no, I want you to do it. But I break it down so they know everything that there is to know, and it's not a mystery.
I never want to say to somebody, "Oh, this is easy. You should be able to do
Right.
this." It's
Right.
because just being in the other business, I see. I have a grandson he's just not mechanically inclined, and I tell him things, and you go, "Why don't you know this?" You know,
Right.
and
It's
then
so
you realize,
basic.
I says, you know, you know, but it's just funny to see some of the people really interested. We have a young man that comes into the store. He used to come in with his mother, and she used to wait out in the car. Then she got to the point she come in the store because if she didn't come in, he'd be in there all night.
Yeah, you move in.
But he just got himself a full-time job, and so he comes in now and buys his own stuff. He's just turned 18 and stuff,
That's
and
good.
it's nice to see that somebody's starting in again. It's starting at the
Yeah.
beginning,
Oh, definitely.
you
Definitely.
know, and
I
he
mean,
does.
the hobby will die if younger people don't keep going, because the older people are going to disappear. And then if there's nobody new, no new blood coming in, all the hobbies will die eventually. So you definitely 100% need new blood.
Well, I hope somebody just pays attention to a lot of these guys around. There's guys around that I know. I wish. Well, we lost a few the last year or two. That I wish I paid more attention to because them guys were pretty smart when it came to the stuff. They may not have been
Right.
the stuff prevalent now, but it's
No,
just the
like
knowledge they have
Chester.
how to
There's
build them.
Chester, whatever his last name is, Chester, whatever. He was a master modeler,
Yeah,
master. And his stuff was just so amazing. I never got to meet him, but I always wanted to because as soon as I saw his work, I was a fan, a
Yeah.
huge fan. And you know, he won't be forgotten, but you know, it's just sad that we had to lose him, and just like
Well,
all the other people too, though.
with these new mediums we have, like YouTube and and Facebook and stuff, you hope that people will put this stuff down, and do it.
Right.
Even if you have it that way, okay, we have to do it this way because that's the way it is. But it
Yeah.
just, I know John, even the guy I work with, John at the store, he's another one. He can sit there and make these buildings. He makes them from scratch. And you sit there when he's done and you go, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I just, you
I've
just
got
do
a
it.
guy. I've got a good friend. I'll consider him a good friend, and he'll hear this probably as soon as I upload this video. But his name's Joseph Bolivens. He's
Okay.
he's becoming real quick a master modeler. He'll take buildings that don't exist and he'll create them within days. He'll 3D print what he needs or just scratch build out of whatever plastic board or foam board he's using and create these amazing looking buildings that just don't exist in any other way besides figuring it out and building it yourself.
Wow.
And he does it within days. I mean, this guy's turning out to be really, really good and really quick too. I mean,
I just,
so
like I said,
crazy.
I'm just amazed when, even where I started in doing this stuff to what's going on today. I mean, there's vehicles out there that weren't even around when I first started. They were just these blobs that sat. If
Yeah,
it wasn't a matchbox that you used, it was just this big blob that, there's resin stuff.
right.
And now it amazes me how, of course, I mean, as much as we hate to say this, but having them sent over to China at the time when it was cheap enough to do it, made a big difference. We don't realize how much of a difference it made. We get a
Yeah,
lot more stuff than we used to get. But
right.
now everything's going back up. So it's like everything else. We're paying for it again.
Yeah, we are. And the big difference is, you know, it might be American made. We can get it a lot quicker than if it came from China, but we're going to pay for it being American made, you know?
Well, the same thing. Ron tried to get this stuff made here. They didn't want nothing to do with it because it wasn't big enough. It wasn't a big enough
Jeez,
order.
whatever.
And
The
he's got
amount of
the
RPS
dies for
trucks
this.
that are out there, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
well, the thing is that, like he said, I can't keep these trucks long enough.
Right.
And he makes such a short runs of them that they run out, and then all of a sudden they're on eBay and they go for,
Yeah,
it's like amazingly priced. That's
right.
why I
They
try to
are,
buy
which
as
is
much as I
crazy.
can and hire,
Yeah.
hold on to them. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
hoarding this stuff, but
It's funny. So when I've customized those trucks, my deal was always you send me two, I'll build you one, I'll keep the other one as in
yeah.
payment so I can then build it for myself. And I did that, and I think I've only literally bought maybe a few from you, but you're the only one I've ever bought from. Without that custom work coming in and that payment of the extra truck, the other trucks have all came from you because you have
Oh,
the best deals anywhere that I found.
well, I appreciate that. I appreciate your business. The thing
Yeah, I
is
mean, I
I'll
wish I
try
had
to
more
do,
business for you, but I don't have.
it's even that. I'll try to be as, John gives me crap about it all the time. I said, John, I'm just doing this to have fun.
Yeah.
John's always got these dollar signs in his eyes sometimes. But he's the biggest. I mean, I just got some paints from him today. I went to go pay him. He goes, "Get out of here!" And he, told me to leave. But I mean, it's nice that he does that. And I got a question for you because just thinking of that. Have you used these Vallejo paints?
No.
From that? Oh my God, I got these. Just got them in. I tried them out, and they're pretty good for this stuff. I
So
use them on the resin
all
stuff.
most of my stuff is like custom car show
Yeah.
builds. So I use a lot of candies and a lot of metal flakes and a lot of wild paints.
Oh, it's like it's like some of the new colors on the cars.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. We because even Ron did some of the bigger trucks. He did the dualies. He did a maroon one and a green one and a blue one.
Hmm.
They were 4 doors. Oh, those are nice trucks. I got those put aside because I think they're the coolest trucks.
I don't know if you've seen this one. I'm trying to find. There it is. Hold on one second. I'll show you a
Yeah.
wild paint job. So this is a River Point Station dually.
Oh, I
I
remember
chopped the
this.
yeah. So it's a silver base. Maybe I'll get the light better. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's better.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fine.
I got a silver base, and then I put this purple pink decal colors. They're like a see-through decal,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the silver will show underneath the decal. And then I painted a glitter metal flake over the whole body of it, and then I painted two coats of clear on top of that to hold everything down.
Oh, that's
And
slick.
yeah, that's like the wild stuff I do because I figure like most stuff is just too boring. If it's stock and nothing real, I mean, like for instance, even the stuff you do, that looks like a stock work truck. Like you see that in a company, a DOT company or whatever,
Yeah.
and that's what they use today. And it could be grimy, it could be dirty, it could be clean, it could be whatever, but you see it and it looks like a normal work truck. Like you would see that today. I still find that boring in my opinion.
Oh no,
I
yeah.
think it's neat that people create it because nobody else is, but
It's
I
funny
wanted
you should say that. I was these guys that even when I was doing trains, they used to make fun of me because I used to use this paint. It was called Scale Coat 2,
Mhm.
and it was the shiniest paint on the market.
Oh wow.
And everybody gave me crap about it because my engines would come out and they'd be this real high gloss paint. And the guys would go, and they would make railroad colors. They weren't some off the wall company. And they said, "Oh, you got to weather this." And I said, "No, if you want to weather it, you do it. I don't
Right.
like it. I like mine shiny." I says,
Yeah,
"This is one of
brand
those
new
things.
looking. Yeah.
Yeah, I want it like it just came out of the wash, that
Right.
kind of thing." I says, "My engines get washed every day, okay? If that's the way you want to play it." But
Yeah.
there you go. We have fellas that come into the store that everything's got to be prototypical. They'll count we call them rivet counters. I don't know if you heard that term,
No.
but they'll count every rivet on it and make sure it's done right.
Oh wow. I'm
Oh,
gonna show
and
you something else. I don't know that you've seen this. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't seen it. But it's a little it's a little uh I don't know what it is. I'm not a train guy. But I built a train and I built a hot rod train. So it's got a candy paint job with a metal
oh, isn't
flake
that
all
slick?
over it with a huge engine to look like a modern day hot rod train.
Nah, that's slick.
Yeah. And I chromed out everything I could chrome out that wouldn't normally be chrome. And it's ridiculous.
Well,
But
no, that's a different.
yeah, it's way different, that's for sure. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's super clean. It's not gonna get dirty because it's a show train.
no, there's nothing wrong with that. That's for sure.
Yeah,
See, I mean, that kind of stuff. And just having somebody to do it. It's got to be like you said. It's got to be different people. Otherwise,
right.
it's too boring. I mean,
Yeah,
I can build them like the next guy, but I like looking at stuff that does, catches my eye.
yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah. That's definitely me. 100%.
I mean, I'm not into fancy cars anymore. I used to be a big. Now, I just want something to get from point A to point B and doesn't break
Right.
down. You know, I don't buy new cars anymore like I used to, and it's that kind of stuff. But it's just these trucks now. I got plenty of them, so I'm gonna be doing a lot more work in the next couple months, especially now the winter's coming. So
Yeah.
this makes it even better for me.
Right. And you
I'm
do live in the
surprised.
Northeast. So
Yeah, I'm surprised how many people are actually buying stuff. To be honest with you, I'm
with what
surprised
we're
how many
dealing
people
with.
out there. It's a funny world because we've been selling cars like they're going out of style,
Wow.
and not new ones. We have no inventory. They're not making many cars.
Right.
I don't know who's telling us that they're doing, but they're not making. We're selling a lot more used vehicles. The used vehicle market is going up. Just let everybody know that. But it's, I just see that, and there's people out there making money that you would thought in this business climate that they wouldn't make a dime. But
Right.
it's the
Right.
funniest people that are making money out there now. God bless them. I'm glad there's people
Yeah.
out there. I'm concerned that, we're all waiting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks and see how things work out. I hope everything works out for everybody. I want, this
Right.
stuff I do to be able to afford to do this and,
Yeah,
and have
exactly.
people enjoy it, life.
Right. I mean, you have employment because of a customer base. If people
Yes.
stop buying, the companies will stop making and stop employing basically. And, you know, so as long as people have a little bit of money to spend on whatever they need to buy at a dealership or in life, there will be employees there behind it to offer that product, you know?
I
So
hope
yeah,
so.
hopefully everything does keep going to where
Because
people get better
I'm
and
just, we're all afraid of things that, are not going to work out. But it's just, it just amazes me. I mean, we were thinking about it today, how much we've sold a lot more cars in the last couple of months than we usually do this time of year. This is usually the
wow.
slowest time of year just for the winter.
Yeah, yeah.
It gets busy in December for a while with the big trucks. And that's the other thing, the F-350s and stuff. Yeah, we don't have many of them around. We're going all over the place looking for them.
Because that's like, besides a 450, that's the most expensive version of that truck. It
Plus,
doesn't get cheaper the more, more it is.
they
So
got guys trading in their old ones and buying new ones, and the new ones are cheap right now. I mean, we've got some, yeah, because we got some big trucks there that are almost $80,000, $90,000.
right. Oh, I know. I know how brand new trucks are selling for. Just retarded money. It's
I
just
mean,
ridiculous to have a
they got a
truck
new
worth that much.
Navigator yeah, they got a
Oh yeah.
Navigator out there, which is like an Expedition. And that
Right.
freaking thing's over $100,000.
That see,
It's a
that doesn't
Ford.
make any sense. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense that SUV is that much money. None. Even the Cadillac Escalade shouldn't even be close to that much money.
Oh
Now, I
my
do know in the last 2 years, Jaguar stepped up, made themselves a SUV, Lamborghini stepped up, Maserati stepped up. All these like high-end supercar companies have stepped up and made themselves SUVs. I
There's a
understand that
Bentley
money.
out there. There's a
Right,
Bentley in the
right.
town that
I
where our
understand
dealership
that
is.
money, but you get a regular American made company, Ford, Dodge, Chevy, and have $100,000 car, SUV. That just doesn't make sense to me.
It was funny because one day I was driving down the road and I'm looking in front of me and there's a Bentley. I'm going, that's a pretty odd. Well, not for anything. Rolls Royce makes one.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. Well, Bentley and Rolls Royce is pretty much the same thing.
It was just funny because I was watching this thing on TV and I'm going, what is that? What
Yeah.
kind of car is that? And then you show you the front and it's a freaking Rolls Royce. I
Right.
says, oh, yeah, I wonder what that thing goes for.
Yeah. Not cheap. Not cheap at
No,
all.
not at
More
all.
than your house. More than probably two of your houses.
Well, yeah, thank God I don't own the house anymore. So, anyways, I'm gonna go
Sounds
if you
good.
don't mind.
I don't mind at all. This was a
I've,
great
I
talking to you. It really was.
and we should do this again. I'll set up something. I'll try to get John to
Oh,
do
I'd
it up
love
at the
that.
store.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be
Now
awesome.
that I see how to do this,
Right.
I'll have him set it up. We'll set it up at the store and do it that way. Could show you
That,
around and that
yeah,
kind of stuff. That would be probably the
that'd be
best thing to
great.
do.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
Take your time. I mean, it doesn't have to be a rush. You do it at your speed. I'm always going to
Oh,
keep doing these, so it's I can
it'd
do
probably
them
be
any
the best
day.
time. He's gonna be after Thanksgiving. He's gonna be open on Sundays. We should
Oh,
do it
right,
one
for
Sunday.
holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, it's just that he does it for a couple of weeks and it does whatever.
Oh.
It's just one of those things. But I
Okay.
mean, we should do it on a Sunday, and that'd be perfect. To get even well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
really like to do that, and
Yeah,
this
that'd be
seems to be
neat.
a good thing, and it'd get people to see what we got, and we can get
Right,
them interested
definitely.
in mail order and stuff.
Hey,
Because John
if
has decent prices on his stuff too. So
so most likely this podcast, this episode with you is going to go up before that interview. So
yeah,
if you can send me a link or just send me the name of the hobby shop that
yeah,
John works at, and then I'll put, when I post your interview, I'll put
yeah.
your Facebook link so anybody can contact you about RPS trucks, and I'll post that link to the hobby store too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, okay. I'll get a
Cool.
hold of him. I'll see him on Tuesday. We close as of the next 2 days. So when
Okay.
I see him on
Well,
Tuesday,
let me
what
sign
do you
this
need from
podcast.
me?
Oh, um, as in what?
If you need, I give you a lot of the information. If
Oh
for
no, I just need, like, if you have a link, if you can just like copy and paste that link in the
oh, okay,
messenger. That way I can then copy the link and then put it in the YouTube
okay,
video.
I can do that. I
Yeah,
can figure it out because
yeah.
he's about computers. He likes to watch YouTube on it. That's about what he does with it.
Well, good. Well, let me sign this podcast off, and then I'll say goodbye to you after I stop the recording.
Okay, go
But
ahead.
everybody, this is Halfass Custom, Sam Dennehy. This is another episode with Nelson. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any questions or any concerns, or if you just want to say good podcast. Anyways, see you guys later. This podcast is over. As soon as I figure out how to make it over.